Hey, and happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another episode of Lunch in the Music Box. I'm riding solo today because my girl DJ Lotus, life happens and she has been swamped with some things and couldn't jump on. But I have a special treat for you guys. If you don't know anything about Kokayi, you're going to learn today. So I want to bring him on and have him share some nuggets, drop some nuggets that he dropped on me just recently. Hold on, here we go.
Hey,
Hey, how you
hey, what's
doing?
up? I'm doing well. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. And
Great,
again, I just want to thank you so very much for being a part of our show today.
for sure.
Um, so, you guys, okay, because I always tell everything, I'm going to have to tell you guys. So, I ran into him last night when we were with our boys, copious amounts. Make sure you guys follow and like their page. Those guys are legit and it's a good time. And they were hyped about this gentleman who's sitting there. And I was like, okay, so who is he? Because they got all the hype on about him. And then they said his name, and so I started looking up Googling. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have a celebrity in the house. But real talk, you guys, he was the coolest, most laid back, just awesome person. So I feel honored and privileged that you wanted to come on with me today.
So thank you for having me. No, I was excited. Yeah, last night was dope with the copious amounts fam, and they introduced you as fam, so we here.
That's right. I love it. I love it. They are the best. So before we even get started into any of the music stuff, can we take a little stroll back on memory lane and tell us a little bit about yourself and how music became like your thing? What?
Born and raised Washingtonian, lover of go-go music, hip hop, and all things DC. Got started out as ciphers in DC on U Street, and then from there ended up getting picked up by a jazz musician named Steve Coleman. Did records with him, ended up parlaying that into a record deal with BMG France. Toured with a group called Opus Band that's from DC also, but we were signed to an international label with BMG and then La Belle Blue, and put out a bunch of records with them, and then became a solo artist. And the man Bling Blang Blonsky, 2008 got a Grammy nomination with the homegirl Wayna, and then just making records. Making records. That's what I do.
I love that. And you know what? Before we even get started even further, a viewer actually reminded me, happy birthday to
Oh, thank you,
you.
thank you.
So this is like a
Appreciate it.
double privilege because
Yeah, yeah,
not only are you here with someone that you just met,
right.
helping me out, but you did this on your birthday when you should be
My
out
birthday.
partying. Yeah.
I mean, as a Sagittarian, we kind of have birthday spans, so it's not necessarily a birthday.
Okay.
It's birth 2 week to 3 week birthday.
A three
Yeah,
three week
it's a
celebration.
celebration. You gotta turn up. You know what I'm saying? Sagittarians turn up. So I be
So
celebrating.
okay, so it sounds like our viewing audience needs to take note, take a hint on on where you are, how to locate you, and take you out for some drinks, have you a couple of little
We could do
tasty taste for your birthday.
this is what I'm saying. So we could do all the hanging post COVID, but what I'm telling people is wear a mask.
I agree. I agree. And so many people are just not paying attention to that. And that is,
For sure.
I don't understand that. I for the life of me, I can't get why they just aren't getting that. Just wear a mask. We
Yeah.
could be so much further along in this whole COVID thing if we were wearing a mask.
Wash your hands, stay in the house when you need to, wear a mask. That's it. You know
Is
what I'm
it
saying? Be responsible. Watch out for the next person. It ain't about necessarily taking away your freedom. It's about making sure the next person stays healthy. So I've seen so
absolutely?
many countries. I got a homie that lives in Shanghai. They were locked down. Like he couldn't come out the house. He couldn't literally come out the house. He could come
Wow.
out of his door. He could go downstairs in his apartment building. He could get food from somebody delivering food. But they had the police outside with guns, the whole nine. So he was living in Shanghai. He stayed in the house for 2 months. In the
Wow.
house, 2 months in his apartment. That was it. But he hit me 3 months ago when he was at a party
Hmm.
with a rack of people. I mean,
Mm.
they had a couple masks, but it's pretty much decimated. So they was in Shanghai partying. So we sitting over here looking goofy. They over there partying. So
Yeah, that's because they
yeah,
did what they
man,
were supposed to begin with. So if
exactly.
we, what about? And this is so horrible to start talking politics, but real talk. I mean, it is what it is. What about life over rights? Life,
I mean,
right?
it's everybody believes it. Okay, so you do have the right to do whatever you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a lovely thing that I love about nature. You know, there are rules and
Right.
laws of nature. And if you
Right.
want to kill you, do me a solid and kill you. Don't kill me, kill you. And that's fine. You can kill you. Don't kill me. And so I understand it's your right if you want to walk around without a mask and do all that, as long as you do that, so you kill you. Just don't kill me. I don't want to die because you don't have a mask on. I want you to go ahead and kill you. Because it's your right. You got a right to kill you. You know, and I ain't talking about people who suffer from suicide. Call the hotline. We can get all that.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's no joke. Like seriously, if you got mental health situation. But I'm talking about people who choose and opt that in the middle of a pandemic that may or may not believe that it's real.
Uh-huh.
Just because you don't believe it's real. See, that's the whole thing. Like Ripley's Believe It or Not, right? Just because you don't believe it's real, don't mean it's not real for somebody else.
Right.
So once again, you can not believe it for you. You don't have to believe it. That's your right. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to wear a mask. That's absolutely your right. But just don't kill me. Kill you. Don't kill me. Kill you. You die. Don't kill me. Kill you. So I'm put on a mask. So I do this. So I don't kill you. See?
Good looking out.
This
Look
is
at
how I
you.
walk. You know what I'm saying?
You are making that sacrifice. You are
I don't want to
hiding the beard and everything.
because I
So,
don't
because
want to
you're
kill
looking up.
you. Right? That's the whole thing. It's my right that I don't have to wear this mask. And I understand that. And that's perfectly cool. But I'm going outside. If I go outside, I'm not trying to kill you. So I put this on. Because I'm watching out for your life.
All right, you guys, let me just tell you something. This is just a sample of what I got last night. I tell you, out of control, but real,
People
but
got a
real.
right. People got a right to eat steak and cheese every day. And you know what happens? See, okay, so this is I'll give you the steak and cheese analogy.
All right, let's go for it.
If you go out in the street and you decide that you want to eat steak and cheeses every day, the person that's going to suffer from you eating steak and cheeses every day is you, because you have a right to eat a steak and cheese every day. But I don't want you to go get a steak and cheese and make me eat it.
Got you. I got you. I understand.
I'm not eating steak and cheese. It's your right to eat the steak and cheese and get cholesterol and pass out and die in the street because you eat steak and cheese every day and don't drink water. I got you. If you want to drink water, you want to drink soda every day and eat steak and cheeses every day, every single solid day, 3 times a day. Don't exercise, don't do nothing. Like do all the stuff, eat, be glutton, do all that. But I don't want you to make me eat a steak and cheese every day and drink a soda every day and not exercise.
Gotcha. And
so
you know what?
So you don't kill me, kill you.
You made that totally clear. I got you. I got you. But look, let's get back to some music because you are killing me. So you said you like, because DC area, the whole go-go thing and stuff. What was home like? What was like? What was home music in your home growing up? What was that?
Music in my home was eclectic. So my dad listened to a lot of Cuban music and jazz. Okay. So I would hear everything from Ed Shorty Rogers, Miles Davis, nice. John Coltrane, Bob James. Like it was all kinds of stuff that my dad would play. And then my older sisters, so I have 2 older sisters, they were into Gap Band, Funkadelic, Prince, Michael Jackson, Bootsy Collins, all of that. Tammy Terrell, Marvin Gaye. That was them. My brother was into Kiss, Bad Brains, Cabaret Voltaire, Blondie, that was his wave. And then I was into, and we all live in DC, so go-go was outside the door. We was in Ward 8, so go-go was outside your door every day. And so you walk outside, that's what you hear, the rhythms in the street. And so it was just everything, and I have a younger sister, so we both grew up like listening to all this stuff. So yeah, and then you go over your grandparents' house, of course, it's some blues, somebody playing something, somebody playing some whist, it's some records spinning, so it's a party. and the celebration. So you're hearing everything, the classic picnic, what they call the picnic records, the May Frankie Beverly and Mays,
Hmm.
the old Teddy Pendergrass, Turbo. You get all of that. You get all that in solitary day.
We have a question here from the audience
Ask him
really quick.
about when the Roots brought him on stage at the 930 Club, and he killed it. That was a great time. So we have when we first met with Steve, it was my high school, my elementary school friend who lived two blocks over. I lived on Elmira, he lived on Galveston.
Okay.
And we ended up being rap partners. Well, we actually ended up going to the studio. We were all solo artists. Every artist that was in Open Soccer Band, it was myself, Black Indian from Northeast, Sub Z from Southwest on the Southeast side off of Galveston. And we ended up going to the studio in New York. This cat named Ezra Greer took us up there. He was the producer that found us at the Cypher and took us up. And so the crazy part was we in the studio recording for 3 days, I think. And the first day we were with two guys from Long Island, Shalik and Utasi. And then the second day, Steve said, yo, I want to bring in these other MCs from Philly. And we was like, okay, dope. These MCs from Philly coming. Right. It was called, the record was called The Tale of Three Cities at the end of the day.
Okay.
And these two cats walk in, a little short dude, and a tall dude with a big old afro, and their manager. Rich Nichols was the manager. God bless him, rest in peace. The taller dude with the big afro was Questlove, and the shorter dude was Tariq Trotter, aka Black Thought. And so we had a relationship with the Roots early on. This was right after Organics and before Do You Want More. Okay. So before they even released that record, we were in the studio with them working on this record with Steve Coleman, who had happened. He was on Do You Want More. Okay. And so they would come to DC, and this one time they came to DC, and I can't remember if I don't think Questlove was with them. And this must have been an old 930 Club on F Street. Yeah, it was a 930 Club on F Street, and they didn't have. I think something happened, and Amir's family couldn't make it. And Tariq was like, "Yo, y'all want to rap?" And so me and Sub went up on stage and got busy.
It
was a beautiful time.
So could I ask you a question about the Grammy nomination?
Yes.
How did that come about? How did you feel when you found out that was going to happen, that you were being nominated? Give us a little bit. Let us experience this with you really quick.
Right. So I worked on a remake of a record, a Minnie Riperton record called Loving You with Wayna Wamusa, who's she's DC area. So Wayna made this record, and I provided the drums by beatboxing and sang background vocals on it. And when Wayna submitted the record, she put, Loving You, Wayna featuring Kokayi. And because she wrote featuring Kokayi on there, I got nominated.
Wow.
So the process all the way up until the nomination was funny because there were people who were just like, I don't even know why you tripping. We got on the ballot. There's separate ballots. So getting on the ballot, anybody who submits a record gets on the first ballot.
Okay.
Then you go through a process, and then you get on the final ballot, which means you actually factually nominated. Mm-hmm. Currently, any voting members out there, voting is open right now, so y'all need to vote.
You heard this,
right? So yeah, it was crazy. December came around right around this time. Mm-hmm. LL Cool J was on TV. This was 2008. LL Cool J was reading off the nominees. And he reads the big categories and hang up and gets off TV, and my phone rings. As one of the trustees from my chapter, he's like, yo, y'all are nominated. I was like, what? Oh, for real? What? Like, uh-huh. And when you experience that, it's you don't think as an independent artist that that's even possible. Right? Because when you think about the Grammy, you think they just looking over here. They're not looking for all the little people. And it was the record at the time. People felt it was a dope record. And we got nominated, and I'm forever thankful for that, for sure.
So you said you beatboxed on that?
I beatboxed and sang backgrounds on that record.
So when they say that you are the most versatile artist in DC, that's no lie, huh?
I mean, I try to do a couple things. That's all. You just do a couple things. You do the stuff that you love to do. I started out as a beatbox. That's the other thing. So when we used to battle people in the hallways of high school, me and Sub, yeah, it was me on the beatbox and Sub on the rhymes. I didn't even rhyme until college.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So being Grammy nominated, I mean, was that like the door that opened and you were like, bam, I'm out there, Shazam, money's coming in, I'm getting, offers to go
No,
into.
no.
No.
Grammy nominations do not come with a check. Grammy awards don't come with a check. They come with the potential for a check. They don't come with a check. So everybody be like, "Oh my God, you got Grammy." Nah, no, that don't mean you got any money. That means you got it. You got a statue.
Okay.
It looks cute. It's cute, but that don't mean you got no check. And the same thing with a nomination. Oh, you nominated? You must. Yeah. You get a certificate and a medal from Tiffany's that says nominee on it, but you don't necessarily get a check. You gotta hustle them checks up on your own. But no, I mean my career was already going prior to 2008 Grammy nomination, so it was just something that feels really good. Still to this day, I can't even front anybody that ever is nominated or wins a statue. They know that feeling.
Right.
And when you finally, when you get Grammy nominated, even people are like, oh man, it's an honor to get nominated. Yeah, it's an honor. I wanted to win though. I ain't even gonna front. I'm super competitive. I was salty. Oh, I was mad. I was like, no, man, we had the record. But I couldn't, we was in good company now. So I'm gonna tell you, that year that we got nominated, Janelle Monáe, who had just like really hit the scene, was nominated. Maisha from New York was nominated. Wayna, Chrisette Michelle, and will.i.am.
Wow, that was your category?
Yeah, best urban alternative, and they won. And I was like looking because I was like, Janelle should have won. And like Janelle was not Janelle that we know now. It was like early Janelle. Like she was dope. And I had just seen her do a show in Virginia at IOTA for 40 people. And can you imagine 40 people at a Janelle Monáe show? And 40 people in Virginia at the IOTA. And she performed like it was 4 million people in there. She killed that job.
Do you think it's the hunger? Like when you're a new artist, at least it's just like, to me, it kind of reminds me of like football. I love watching college football and college basketball because I feel like they're so hungry to get this check that you see the magic, you see crazy stunts. I mean, they go like, for lack of a better term, balls to the wall, because they're trying to get it done. Do you think that that's how it is with musicians, or have you experienced that it's like before you get here that usually that fresh musician or artist is like just so hungry that you see like phenomenal stuff and you see them, great performances?
I think it's twofold. So you have a certain set of artists that's really true. They're super, super hungry. And as soon as they sign on a dotted line, they stop being hungry and they fall off. Right? Because the real work actually starts after you get a record deal.
Okay.
It's not before you get a record deal. Before you get a record deal, it's a lot of work. As soon as you get a record deal, it's way more work because everybody wants your spot. Like you hustling to try to get in the spot. And as soon as you get in the spot, then you got a whole other set of rules to follow by. Because the label ain't like it is when you're doing it on your own.
Right.
You're doing it on your own, building it so that a label can take you to another level. The rules in the building ain't the same rules that you was governing yourself by when you was out on the street on your own. Right? Very different things. But then there's artists that just like have it. Just have it. That's what they do. They love to perform. They hit the stage. They gonna always be on. They shiny people. Like that's what I call them. Shiny people. They just the shiny people. They can't hide their light under a bushel. It ain't gonna go nowhere. You see the shine. They can't do nothing. They can be quiet. They can be the quietest person in the room. They still shiny. They still gonna attract attention. Fortunately, Janelle is a Sagittarius. We ain't gonna talk about that. I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Something about those Sagittarius, huh?
I'm just saying, Jay-Z. Sammy Davis Jr., Nicki Minaj.
Oh my!
You know what I'm saying? Rich Medina. I mean, I could go down a list of Mos Def. I mean, I could just keep going.
Okay, so now you're acting like a person from Philly because people from Philadelphia, they're like, all music comes from Philadelphia.
No, no.
and then they start.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that all great musicians are Sagittarians. I'm
Uh-huh.
just saying that some of your favorite musicians are Sagittarians.
Okay, I got
All
you.
I'm saying. I'm saying. All that's all I'm saying. Virgos too. Virgos, Aquarians, of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I give them a space,
Okay.
but
Okay. So there's something to it, huh?
it's
It's
something about them.
cosmically.
But so what I'm saying is that there's certain people that have a certain quality and have a commitment to expressing their art. And she was one of those people that had a commitment to expressing her art. And so you're not anybody that performs, like I've met a number of performers like that. It don't matter who in the room. It don't matter how many people in the room. They give their all. Right. And I think that and I think that equates to sports. I think it equates to a bunch of stuff. The music industry is very special. Any entertainment, I say entertainment, right?
Okay.
And that goes to sports, college sports, but definitely for movies and music and entertainment. When you're dealing with that arena, you're dealing with things that are subjective. Even visual art, like art too, right? This whole
Uh-huh.
art world, the whole thing, all of that stuff is subjective. So you're dealing in an arena that people don't really. I can sell you a phone. You know what a phone does. You know the purpose of a phone. You know the
Right.
purpose of a battery charger. You know the
Right.
purpose of a mask. You know the purpose of these things. But music, you don't necessarily know the purpose. It's talking. It's a purpose that's there for something that is intangible. It makes you feel a certain way. So making you feel a certain way, a phone don't make you feel a certain. You might feel a
Right.
sense of loss if you don't have your phone, right? You might feel a little bit of panic, but the phone doesn't give you. I mean, well, studies are saying that the phone really actually can mess around with your emotions, but normally,
It's usually what's on the phone, though,
right,
not the phone.
right. Well, it's the ability, the technology is what governs how you feel at the moment. But
Okay.
with music and movies and art and things of that nature, it's the visual, it's what you see and it's
Mhm.
what you hear that
Mhm.
make you feel a certain way. And those feelings are oftentimes based on how you were raised. It's your environment. You might like country music if you grew up in Texas.
Mhm.
If you grew up in Texas, black, white, indifferent, you might really like country music because it's a more country music there than there are in urban areas, in densely populated areas, not necessarily urban. I don't want to get anybody confused. In densely populated areas,
Mhm.
you might like West Coast hip hop because that's where you're from. You might like East Coast hip hop. So these things are all based, and then you might like a certain artist because that artist is from your neighborhood, and then you
Mhm.
might like a certain tone because that tone resonates closer to tone, and then you might like that person aesthetically because they kind of remind you of your grandma. It's all of these things that go into something that's subjective, and and everybody who makes an opinion about art or even operates in this field of art is operating from emotion. They're not
Mhm.
writing as a formula. They're not singing as a formulaic thing. Some people do, right? They use algorithms and things when they make records, but most, I would gather, have a specific message and
Mhm.
energy that they want to emit.
Gotcha.
Some have energy they want to emit. Some have energy that they are conduit for, that they put out in the universe, right? And
Gotcha.
so you're dealing with a space that's you can't really put your finger on it. And so it takes a specific type of person, oftentimes, to be the interpreter of those messages.
Gotcha.
In my
So, in listening to you talk now, and then some of the things that those little nuggets that you were dropping last night that I was taking lots of notes on.
Mhm,
You were talking about um, opportunity,
mhm,
and then you were talking about just a little bit ago. You know how you were talking about like Janelle Monáe and her like performance and all that stuff,
mhm,
and it
mhm,
brings me to something you said that made me think about like being ready, always
mhm,
ready and stuff,
mhm,
and I said that because you obviously have a phenomenal reputation for getting on there, getting the job done, doing this great show. And you're always ready. Because if I remember correctly last night, you were talking about getting a phone call
mhm,
and next thing, then jumping on a plane and
mhm,
traveling and
mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
So um as a musician, do you think that that's really, I mean, like that's a key thing that, you need to be ready and you need to put it out there that you are a high caliber performer and you're ready. I mean, fill me in on that. Give us a little insight on that.
So I would say this, I don't believe in opportunities only knocking once. Some people believe that it's only one time that the opportunities come around. There's opportunities and windows everywhere. You just got to be aware to look for them, right? I was talking to you about that story last night about the person looking for a boat, and God sent them a door and a log and a turtle, and the person kept looking for a boat, and they confused, right? Like all those opportunities came, but they didn't recognize them for what they were.
Uh-huh.
So even in this game, even in this business, you have to be aware, and resilient and resourceful enough to recognize that there's opportunities that exist all around. Is what do you really want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people want to go. They want to sell a million records. They want to sell a million records right out the gate. They want a million fans right out the gate. But it might be these little 100 fans that's willing to buy 1,000 things from you at one time, and you keep focusing on a million people when these 100 would clearly take care of you, right?
Right.
So you have to recognize those certain things. And then the being ready part is like, if you're a musician, I know it's COVID right now, but where your passport at? Right. So if anybody gets an inoculation, or they come up with the shot to keep you, the cure, right? So the cure come out, what you gonna do? You don't have no passport. How you gonna get on a plane anyway? You on papers or something? I mean, you don't have no license. You don't have your show ready. Like, what are you doing right now? Right now, you in the house. You in the house. You could be creating. If you're not in the mental space to create, absolutely understood, and all of that. How you been rehearsing? How you been going over your old stuff? Like maybe you ain't creating something new, but you've been going over your old stuff. Did you think about repackaging your old stuff? Did you think about all the stuff that's sitting in your hard drive and you need to probably sell it? Those things, like keeping yourself in the midst and the process of doing your work. Like sometimes, even when I was at a low, I kept working, even though I wasn't feeling it,
Right.
even though there was nothing. I was in a drought creatively, but I kept working because I was like, if I gotta keep the muscle, I gotta keep going,
Right.
because eventually something is going to break through, and I had those breakthroughs. So I was very fortunate.
That's phenomenal. So you mentioned COVID. How is COVID actually affecting you? I mean, are you good? We good here? What we doing? What are we doing right now?
Therapy.
Therapy. Oh, I recommend that for everybody, actually.
Listen, go to therapy, man. Get your life in therapy, and talk to them people and get them things out of your head and into somebody else's, expertise to be able to help you cope. And also, like I said, staying ready. Keep doing. I've been, as a musician, I've been sending files to people. I've been doing virtual meetings when, if I can't be in LA, I got to call somebody in LA. We've been doing Zoom. So this is par for the course, actually, for me. Is the thing that I'm grateful and thankful for is that I've been able to be home with my family more so than ever before. So that's great. That's beautiful for me.
Right.
Yeah. So
And so you're
I
talking
don't
about
want it, like, hey, still kill you. Don't kill me. I don't want the COVID. I don't want the C-19. I don't want the C6D. I don't want none of that. Right? I don't want none of that. You keep all that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm super thankful for this time. It's helped me to center myself within this family space and be more appreciative of my family and spend that time that I need, because they give certain, energy of rejuvenation too,
right.
that you come to appreciate.
So you're talking about your family and being able to spend time with them. From what I understand, you
Mhm.
actually get some inspiration from your family.
Yes. My son,
So,
well, I mean, my son, when he was smaller,
uh-huh.
there was a record called Robots and Dinosaurs that he absolutely inspired, because that's what he wanted for Christmas. And it gave me probably one of my most successful and popular records out, came from that whole understanding of either you're a robot, or or you're a has-been complaining about what's new. And it gave
Mm,
me a new perspective, on how to focus on what we consider new generations in hip hop or new generations in music. Um, and so I find inspiration in a lot of stuff. A lot of stories definitely come from my personal life. Whether people like to know that or not, but it is what it be. But yeah, for sure, I'm always inspired by them. Watching people grow up is something crazy, right?
it is.
being in a relationship for 20 years with a great partner, being with, can you turn your ring off? Thank you. Sorry. Being in a relationship with a great partner and having two intelligent, good people as children is wonderful.
So, right now,
Hmm.
or let's not even go right now. Let's just take it back a little bit. What was your goal with music?
In the beginning or now?
Like, let's talk about then, and let's talk about where you are now. So let's go back. What
Well,
was your goal initially?
when I first got into music, I was just like, oh my God, I want to rap. Like that was
Okay.
literally that's all I wanted to do. Let me rap. Hopefully, we get a deal.
Uh-huh.
And so be careful what you ask for. And how you
Okay.
ask for it. Because, like I said, you learn so much stuff as you continue and progress through your career. So
Right.
in the beginning, it was like a dude walked into the cipher, like he had been around.
Uh-huh.
He said, I want to take you to New York to make a record. And I was like, you lying. Like that was my whole thing. You lie, you a lie. From the pit, you a lie. And he picked us up. He picked us up and took us to New York, and we make this record. And literally, I have to shout out Ezra Greer all day. That's the homie. Without E, it wouldn't be no me. Seriously, because he took us to New York. We made that record. We ended up touring with Steve for almost two years after that record was made. 3 years after that record was made. Picked up Black Indian, and then from a record we did in Europe, a live record that we did, we got a phone call in San Francisco from from BMG France asking us if we wanted to be a group.
Wow.
And like it was not even, it was just like, do y'all want to be a group and put out a record with a major record label?
Right.
Yeah. So we got signed. Like, it was like, it was no, we toured around in a van for a long time. It wasn't none of that. It was literally, we was in the cipher, we was making a record, we made another record, we got signed. And that doesn't happen. Like that's a different story. And then we toured, and then we got another record deal with a different label. And then, Black with MCA, and then we stopped. And then we got into the let's go get in the van. And then we did, so a lot of stuff was backwards. Like I'd seen a double-decker tour bus before I seen the van going to the city. Like, and then there was a difference between the European market and the US market. And then understanding the nuances of contracts and what's supposed to be there and what's supposed to not be there, and what sort of help you need, and what does it mean to have like a manager. Like people like, oh, I need a manager. You ain't got nothing to manage. You don't need a manager. You need an intern. Like that's what you need right now. You don't need no manager. Oh, I need a record label. You don't need a record label. You need to make some records. Like that's, it's certain things that, carts before the horse. And where I am now is just like make as much music as I possibly can, not to just make a lot of music, but I got all these ideas, and thankfully I have the resources to do the things that are ideas. And then having a plan and good people around you to help you execute that plan. And then I have a distribution, alternative that works well for me. And so I'm able to release the records when I want to release records. I can do my own artwork, and mix things. I have people that work on mixing. I have people that work on mastering. And so it's not an issue. And I've made a great network of friends and promoters and musicians and like-minded individuals. So all that stuff is there. So now for me, the business of music is about how do you maintain, and then how do you increase your revenue streams? Because that's what any good business would tell you. Any good business would be like, yes, we make tennis shoes, but we make shoelaces, and then we make shorts, and then we make hats, and then we got bags over there, and then we make earphones, and then we make earphone bags, and then we got shoe covers, and then we got shoe soles. Any business will do that. They'll span out. Like, Adidas just don't make shoes.
Right.
Kokayi just don't make toothpaste.
No money left on the table.
None, zero.
That's been my motto for 2020. Like people will say, you do this, and I'm like, look, no money left on the table.
So I got merch. I'm doing all kinds of other stuff. I'm sticking my fingers in different little pies.
Love
Of
it.
course, so that's what you do.
Love it.
So now it's not necessarily about a record label. It's about like the maintaining and control of my intellectual property, which is what I would tell any artist right now. Is look at Bob Dylan.
Mm,
Bob Dylan just sold his catalog for 300 million. So I'll give you a brief story, and I think we almost out of time, right?
yeah.
Okay. So brief story to end it up. Bob Dylan just sold his catalog for 300 million. Bob Dylan, who owned his catalog, sold it for 300 million dollars. Scooter Braun, who bought Taylor Swift's catalog, sold Taylor Swift's catalog for 300 to 350 million. Scooter made that money. Tay Tay did not.
Mm,
Bob made that money.
right.
Scooter did not. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. She
The
missed the
person,
opportunity.
well, she didn't miss an opportunity. She signed a record contract that didn't allow her to get her masters back in time. And when it came
Mm,
time, so people get the Taylor Swift thing twisted. It wasn't that Scooter just came in and swooped down and took no. There was an opportunity to buy her masters back from Big Machine. Her father, if anybody does the research, her father sat on the board of Big Machine.
mm,
Your daddy knew that they was about to sell your catalog. So you didn't buy the catalog, or maybe you didn't want to pay what they asked you to pay in the beginning for the catalog. And I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm just not saying the story ain't all the way out.
okay,
So
gotcha.
there was an opportunity to buy the catalog, and that opportunity was not taken to buy the catalog because somebody on somewhere played hardball and shouldn't have, and should have just paid the money, because then they could have turned around. Tay Tay could be owning her 300 million herself.
Right.
And then the company that wanted to work with her said, and she said it, they was like, yeah, we want you to come along and try to help us with this catalog, but Scooter and them still got to make money. And she was like, I hate Scooter and them, so nah, I ain't even mess with y'all. I'm gonna just go re-record these songs.
That's a lot.
So long story short, own your intellectual property. Do not sell your publishing.
Mm,
When you sign these record deals, remember that they're gonna try to take your publishing. Your publishing is your generational wealth generator. If you don't keep your publishing, you have given away your kids' money.
mm, mm, mm.
So
Yep. Generational wealth just lost.
that's it. It's a wrap.
Wow. All right. So two quick little quickies.
Mhm.
First, what do we have? What can we look forward to in the future, and where can we purchase your music?
All right. So for the future, I'm just making records.
Okay.
I'm continuing to make music and continue to make art. I have photos and things. If you go to Kokayi 202, which you see scrolling across the bottom, there's art for sale on. Well, there will be art for sale on there. There's merch already for sale.
Okay.
And then there's art that's going to be for sale. There's a whole under my photography section. I did a bunch of collaborative works in photography and music where I took the photos myself. I have a project called Hubris that came out as a record and a photo exhibit, and a project called Distant Waves, which is out now, which is music and a photo exhibit. And then I did a bunch of photos called 18 by 24, where you can buy those soon because I haven't set up the store yet, but it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I'm making all that. I'm doing all of that stuff, making all that music. You can find me at Kokayi, at Kokayi, everywhere. You can buy my stuff on Bandcamp. If you go to my Kokayi Instagram, there's a link tree link up there. You click that, you find everything you need to know about me, and you can find everywhere to go buy my stuff.
Okay. Any secrets you want to share? Like any little tidbits you want to let us know? Like that 2021 is bringing? Have any secrets?
I ain't got no secrets except it's gonna be more music out here. Stay in touch, keep up with me, follow
Gotcha.
along.
Gotcha. Well, I want to thank you. Look, I want to first of all, I want to thank you for just being you because you are like you are light. I will
Oh,
say that you're light, and I appreciate all the nuggets that you were dropping out here today. Of course, I was taking them and eating them, filling my tummy during lunch. Um, so thank you for being for being here and
thank you.
sharing. And we do look forward to seeing more and more music, hear more and more music, and definitely supporting the paraphernalia and the
Okay.
artwork that you have
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. I
All
should
right,
have
and
worn something. That's what I should have did. I
yeah,
should have
you should have. You sleeping. We'll have to have you
loafed.
on again, and you can bring on your okay.
All right. Great time.
All right, and our Tuesday lunch day crew, thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next week, where our guest will be Cynthia Renee,
Hey,
vocalist. And as the late Don Cornelius would always say, always imparting, we wish you love, peace, and soul.
all right.